Why? What happened? All right. So yesterday, few students were not here. For them, I would like to tell that we started with past tense. Okay. First topic in past tense was past simple. Past simple that we generally use to describe some things which already happened in the past. Okay. These things could include the time frame, or it could be without time frame. Like I played last week. Sometimes I can only say I played the cricket match. So time frame is not required. So if you are using time frame, that is also fine. You are not using time frame, that is also fine. If you want to narrate one incident that happened in the past, again same tense would go, past simple. If you want to narrate sequence of the incidents, sequence of the events that took place, same thing, even past simple would be helpful there. So what is the structure here? We need a subject with verb. We can add, like some verbs are there for which we need to add D or ED. Okay. Then object is objective. You can use, or you can, like if it is required, you may use. For example, if we are talking about a positive sentence, then he worked for the police. So what we did here, he, a subject, with the verb work, we have added ed, worked. That means we are talking about past for the police. Now if we are talking about negative sentence, we just need to use do not or did not. Okay, she didn't work for the police. So when I have already used did, this word is stating that I'm talking about past tense. So with work, with a verb, we are not adding d or ed, right? Now, if we talk about interrogative, the auxiliary verb did will come forward. Did they work for police? So again, we can see that in this sentence we have did, which is mentioning the past tense. So with the verb, we will not add d or ed. Clear? This structure is fine. This is very simple as we have done present tense. This is past tense. Okay. Now, if we want to check that in which events or which places we can use past simple tense. First one is here when we want to talk about single past completed action. The action was one and it was completed. Past simple would go. Second, if we want to talk about series of actions, then also we will use past simple tense. If we want to talk about past repeated actions, then also we will use past simple tense. If we want to talk about long term situations that in the past that are no longer true, but they happened in past, they were true in the past, they have no relation in the present tense, then we will describe it with past tense. Okay, I'm not stating the examples here because we have covered it yesterday. It is given in the notes, you can go through it. Still, if you have any doubt, you may ask. Now, the next topic here is past continuous. Past continuous, that means incident or series of incidents that were continuously happening in the past. That means when I'm narrating a story and I want to state that something was happening during that time, then I would use past continuous tense. So to provide the background scene, I'm narrating any incident, but what was happening along with that? So that scene can be narrated with the help of past continuous tense. For example, it happened at 5 in the afternoon while she was watching the news on TV. So what is the exact past incident happened here? Burglary maybe happened at that time. So it happened, the burglary happened at 5 p.m. What was the background scene? What was happening along with it? She was watching TV. Okay, so past continuous is used here. He was doing his homework in his bedroom when the burglar came into the house. So, what was the incident? Came. Came, that means irregular verb. Okay, some verbs are there for which we are required to use D or ED. Some irregular verbs are there which gets changed. Okay, like steal, stole, read, read. So same thing, come, came, go, went, that way. So this one is irregular verb. But this is stating us that this incident happened in past. But what was the background scene? He was doing his homework. So to mention the background scene, we would use past continuous. Clear? When to use past simple? When we are stating what incident happened. But alongside, when we want to describe the background scene, we will use past continuous. Clear? Next thing, when we want to emphasize the activity without focusing on its completion, we don't know or we are not sure whether it completed in past or not, but still it was happening in the past. Okay. For a while last year, I was working at the cinema. We are not sure if he's still working or not, but he was working there. Studying for my degree. We are not sure whether he is in second year now or has he completed his degree. So studying for my degree, that means we are not sure those tasks are completed or not. Still we are going to use past continuous. Clear? Now if we see the structure here, again the structure is going to be very easy. What we need a subject. With the subject we would use was verb as the auxiliary verb. Then with the verb we will use ing to show the continuity. Clear? With the positive sentence, what do we need? Subject, was verb, verb plus ing. Object is optional. With negative sentence, what do we need? Subject, was verb, not verb ing. With interrogative sentence, what do we need? Was verb, then whatever incident we want to ask, then verb plus ing. For example, were you watching the news? Were is the auxiliary verb here, right? What is the main verb? Watching. So auxiliary verb will come forward. Were you watching the news? Clear? When we are using positive statement and negative statement, auxiliary verb will come next to the subject. But when we are using interrogative statement, then auxiliary verb will come in front. Clear? The next one here is used to and would. Used to is used for something which was a habit in the past. Okay. So, we use used to plus infinitive or would infinitive when we want to talk about past repeated action. For example, she used to keep the front door locked. So, do you think she would have locked her door of her home once only? No, she might be doing it for multiple times. That was her habit. It was a repeated action. So, for that, used to is used here, right? She would leave the door unlocked when she was at home. She would leave. Again, it was in her habit. Okay. So, habitual actions, repeated actions can be described with used to or would. Clear? Would, so how we classify when we need to use used to or would? It's fine. Either of these can be used. Then we use used to plus infinitive to talk about permanent situation that are usually no longer true. Because suppose if we talk about this statement only, she used to keep the front door locked. Why we are stating used to? Because this was the action she was performing in the past. She is not doing it in the present. So it does not have any relation with the presence. So it is no longer true. Bill Murphy used to work for the police force. That means he was working with the police force in the past, but not right now. Okay. We do not use used to if we want to talk about how long the situation lasted. So if we are stating the time period, then we do not use used to. Okay. I used to work there for, suppose if what is written here as example, Bill Murphy worked for the police force for over 17 years. So what we have written? Past simple. Bill Murphy worked there. He worked there. We did not say Will Murphy used to work? क्यों? Because we have given time frame. Whenever there would be time frame, we would not use used to. Suppose if we talk about this situation, there is no time frame. For 15 years, few years back, no time frame is given. Clear? So when time frame would be there, we would not use used to. Clear? So when are we going to use past simple? In the past. Yes. Whether it is single incident or it is series of incidents, right? And when we would use past continuous. Continue in the past. It was continue in the past. And when you want to narrate something and you want to tell about background scene, then also you would use past continuous. And when you want to talk about any task that was happening in past but we don't know whether it is completed or not, then also we will use past continuous. Clear? When we would use used to or would? Yes. Habitual actions or repeated actions that took place in past can be described with the help of used to or would. But there is an exception. We cannot use used to. When? When time frame is included. Then we will not use used. Clear? Now, in next page, there is question number 1. Please check it out. Here question 1 says fill in the gaps in this model answer which with verbs from the box in the past simple. Okay. What would be the past simple for allow? Allowed. And B that means is or uska आपको करना होगा. Okay. Invent, increase, lay, lay. Spelling LAID. Laid. Mean meant. I meant. Okay, MEA. Like when we say read, read. Mean, meant. Own, own. Receive, replace, write, take, walk. Very easy. Go for it. Herman, do your work, please. Manisha, are you getting the answers? Auxiliary verb. Samir, is the question clear? Hmm? No. It could be for the other term as well. Suppose if we are considering something, then also it is meant to be delivered. That way. Done. Ready? Shall we check the answers? Sorry. 14 options are there in the help box, and I can see 14 questions are there. One has already been done for you. So one option would reduce from 13 options, you'd be doing it. All right, let's check the answers. Number one is already done. Number two, long ago that the postal service dash our only way to communicate. Hmm? Postal service dash our only way. Was our only way to communicate. It dash days and sometimes weeks to receive letters. Correct. As a result, the news in the letters dash already out of date. News is single entity. Okay, so news was already out of date when people dash them, received them. Correct. We are talking about news. We are not talking about letters. In the workplace, this dash that business was mostly conducted locally over relatively short distances. This meant because we are trying to relate it or we are trying to consider it. So this meant that business was mostly conducted locally. When Alexander Graham Bell dashed the telephone, correct? Who said invent? Invented the telephone in 1876. It dashed the foundation. Come on. Yes, it laid the foundation. It laid the foundation for the communication systems that we have today. The telephone dashed two people to communicate aloud. Eventually, computers dashed typewriters. Replaced, correct. Eventually, computers replaced typewriters and dramatically dashed the speed of our daily work. Increased, correct. However, it is not just communication that have changed. Only 50 years ago, most people dash a car. Hmm? Don't you think so? We don't ride cars. We ride bicycles. We drive cars. Okay, so what would be here? Only 50 years ago, most people, and it should be negative. Look, not as given there. Most people did not own a car. Okay, most people did not own a car. People dashed to work, walked to work, or rode bicycles. which was wrong? Auxiliary verb. जहाँ बहुत आना था. What did you write there? You were writing in sequence only. सेवन कितनी लेट हो गई समझने में. हाँ? Look, before solving the question, if you are unable to understand, please ask. गलत solve करोगे, time waste होगा. That would not make a sense. Okay? Let's see next question. Question number 2. Here the question says fill in the gaps with the past simple or past continuous form of the verbs in bracket. ठीक है, bracket में दिया हुआ है, उसका ही आपको क्या बनाना है? Past simple or past continuous. In which gaps could you use used to? कहाँ समझेंगे कि हमें used to use करना है? When we are talking about habits or repeated actions. Okay? And where time frame is not given. Come on, go for it. Suppose if have is there, what would be its past participle? Put on the fan. Before solving such type of questions, first read the complete paragraph so that you understand what is the concept, what is the story, what was happening, what is the actual incident that happened, what was the background scene, so that you understand where to use past simple and where to use past continuous. No discussion, please. Hmm. Let me know if you're done.
वो पूछा तब वो टीवी देख रही थी जैसे हाँ बैकग्राउंड टीवी वाला हुआ ना कि वो चोर पूछ रहा था ऐसा कैसे नहीं सेट करने की टीवी देख रहे थे तो वो बैकग्राउंड
Look, what happened at the moment? हम describe क्या कर रहे हैं? The entrance of thief. But what was happening in the house, that was background scene only. Done? Shall we check? All right. The first one is already done for you. I had a wonderful biology teacher, Mrs. Hughes. She dashed us excited. She made us excited about the subject because she was interested herself. I remember one lesson in particular. We dash different types of plants. We studied. Are you sure? Hmm.
we used to study
We used to study.
different type of we used to study
Sure.
हाँ
We were studying different types of plant. What is he talking about? One particular lesson. Okay. I remember one lesson in particular. We were studying different types of plants. And Mrs. Hughes dash describe the parts of plant. And she was describing. Okay. We were studying. She was describing the different parts of the flower. She dashed a purple flower.
She picked up.
Yes. Okay. She was picking up nahi hoga because that incident happened only once. So she picked up a purple flower. I can't remember exactly what it was. And then suddenly we dash. We noticed that she
Was crying.
She was crying. Correct. She dashed and
Apologize.
she apologized and apologized. Past participle and dash said SAID and said that sometimes nature was so beautiful it just made her cry. We dash negative.
No, we did not knew.
Okay, we didn't know. With did, look, when you're using the word did, it is already telling us that you are talking about past. So we would not use past participle with it. Okay. Did not work, did not eat, did not go, did not went nahi hoga kabhi bhi. Okay. So did not know what to do at first, but certainly dash us think, made us think something similar happened.
Happening है मैं यहीं पे कंफ्यूज हो रही थी.
No, something similar happened because now this is also one incident he's talking about. Okay.
Why?
So something similar happened while she
Shows us.
Q shows.
Shown.
Yes, she was showing us how to work the microscope. She dashed a slide of some plant tissue. She was
मेरे को लगा यहाँ पे बैकग्राउंड जैसा कुछ वर्क करेगा हैपेंड और सी वाज शोइंग दोनों मतलब एक साथ हो रहा है.
where this you thought this was background.
Something similar
Happened
while she was showing मतलब at the same time
both the things were happening. These both happened all together. She was showing us how to work the microscope. She was examining a slide of some plant tissue and she dash smiled. She smiled all over her face. She suddenly dash got all excited and said, "Isn't it wonderful?" Some students laughed at her when she was not looking, but I didn't. Somehow her enthusiasm inspired me and I started to like biology.
I got 4 wrong answers.
Which four?
Was examining.
Okay. You said examined.
Yes, ma'am.
He examined a slide of because what was the incident he was stating? Something similar happened. So that was one static thing. But during that course, during that event, what was happening? What other things were happening? She was showing, she was examining. Okay. And she smiled. So that happened once. So she was smiling. Nahi. She smiled all over her face.
And I thought that something similar was happening while she shown us how to work the mice.
Shown, अभी हमने वो कहा क्या? Showed, right?
Showed us how to work. I thought both are happening at the same time. So it would be the background scene while she.
No. Clear?
Yes.
Any doubt here? Nand? Clear? Harman? Sameer? Manisha? All done? Okay. So that's it for today. Tomorrow we would do rest of the questions. All right? If you have anything to ask, you may ask.
There were no use to me.
if it was required. You may use, if not, then not. Because here we did not find anything as habit. It was about one lesson, it was about another incident, but nothing as per the habit or repeated action. That's why. Please complete your reading.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Tomorrow we would check. Reading.
No, no, ma'am.
The day when he concentrates and he's able to solve, that day the passage is easy. The day when he's unable to concentrate, the passage is tough.
Most of the time, yes, fine. Personally,
Most of the times that happens that first passage is
yeah, more than me. Yeah, third one is also pretty. Third,
that is the structure.
first one, when
Thank you.